We're here for the Iconics Just Our Three Gents review of AEW Dynamite from Kentucky.
We're here in Kentucky.
We're here in Kentucky. But you are back with us watching our wonderful podcast here with Adolfo back for the third week in a row. I think you like this show. I'm really happy you're here for this.
I enjoy the the AEW Dynamite. It makes me feel
loudy.
The warm in my tum-tum.
The tum-tums. And we have Mikey, not just of the ones and twos, but being one of the three gents again. You're back on this regular thing. Thanks for being here, Mikey.
I am happy to be here, though I'm kind of regretting doing so because I have feelings on this episode.
We all do. And of course, JVL here as well, helping you to shepherd all of you through this conversation about AEW Dynamite. For those of you that may not watch it, we're going to try to give you kind of a lowdown of what's going on. For those that did watch it, come for the takes, come for the things that we get angry about, because we're here to say the things you've wanted to say.
I'm stuck in a locker.
Say the things you needed to say. Say the things like, welcome to the MJF adventure, which was this entire episode. Both you boys. This brought me back to like 90s, early 2000s era WWE when like they let the writers actually do something and they thought, let's make a narrative out of it. Let's do this whole thing. Let's do a full bottle episode of just how does this person get from the beginning of the show to the main event. Yep. And so we followed the adventures of MJF as he searched for his tag partners.
That's right. Let's hunt down Stone Cold Steve Austin in every bar in Dallas. And
let's see,
we'll go
let's
from
see
there.
who the Acolytes are protecting this week to make sure they don't win the hardcore title.
That's
something like that.
This definitely felt. This episode definitely felt like that. It was. It was the MJF story with some funny sidebars.
True, but also setting up a little talk of Adam Cole perhaps being the devil in kayfabe.
My money's on Britt Baker being under that mask.
Yeah.
I mean, the body type would suggest it. But yes, we started off the evening with MJF cutting the promo about that he still needs to find tag team partners. Video calls Adam Cole, who's been growing his giant recovery beard, looking great and seemed to be in good spirits, and being interrupted by Roddy Strong, who's yelling Adam at the screen.
So the internet has dubbed this trio as the Strong Kingdom. I was just like, sure.
Next Strong.
Next Strong.
I
prefer Next Strong. That's okay. Next Strong it is.
And Adam Cole hangs up on Next Strong right away. And that was kind of a theme for this as well. But I thought it was a kind of a fun little bit there. It gave us the kind of premise of the night. And it was an easy one to get through, I think, for that. I don't know if you two boys felt that way.
I said this before, and I'll say it again. This whole Next Strong, Adam Cole, MJF thing it's really entertaining to me. I have a small lizard brain, so I'm easily entertained. But it was entertaining. I chuckle so hard when they wheel up and he's just like Adam. I don't think it's Adam Cole underneath the mask though. I think it's Roderick Strong.
Yeah, ooh. You could be calling it at this point. And I'm like you. I need the lizard brain every time. He said the thing! He said the thing!
It was good.
Mikey, were you drawn in by this? Were you happy to see Next Strong appear and do this type of stuff?
So, don't get me wrong. I'm enjoying this. I still am. But I feel that leading into this, initially when I found out it will be MJF versus Jay White at Full Gear for the title, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. And now that we've had like a couple of weeks of building to this match, because Full Gear is literally in 2 weeks, you guys.
2 weeks.
2 and 2.
Because it's everything that is so convoluted with this storyline and everybody is involved in the MJF cinematic universe. Story has lacked a punch for me. It's entertaining, but there's no pizzazz. There's no punch to this feud.
Has there been a kangaroo kick for you though?
No, and I don't want to see another one for as long as I live.
Oh no, Mikey.
Mikey!
I hate that move. I never was a fan of it. I think the problem was I think I would have liked it more had they not used that against my boys of Aussie Open. at All In. Had it been someone else, I would have been invested in it. But my love for Aussie Open is going to be higher than my love for the Brochachos. I found it interesting that this is like the second or third week in the row that Dynamite has started with like a cold open promo package, not pre-taped, kind of live. Let Renee do all these. I'm just putting it out there right now. Let her be involved in the opening for this stuff. I mean, it set up the rest of the night. I didn't think it was groundbreaking or anything, but I thought it was fine.
Also, I did love also that throughout the night, we got to see the environment of backstage in AEW now. It is now kind of a fully fleshed out area, not just the screen that Renee stands upon and people appear out of a magic trap door to talk to you or get in your face. So very fun in that respect. But we moved on from the premise of the night to my match of the night. Right off the bat, this was my match of the night. Orange Cassidy defending the international title against Claudio Castagnoli. Now, I can say there were matches that were better put together in certain places. There were matches that were faster or may have been paced better. This was an all-around better match. These two, their styles gel like nothing else I have seen on this roster in a while. So every near fall, every kind of out, and seeing Orange Cassidy turn it on when he had to, the reversal for the ending, all there. Gentlemen, heap some praise on this match, please.
It wasn't my match of the night, but it was super entertaining. I loved it. I was also very impressed with Orange Cassidy and Claudio and how they worked with each other. I am happy that they tossed Wheeler and Hook out. The match was so good that I was worried when I saw Wheeler coming out with Claudio, that I was worried that there was going to be some interference by Wheeler that was just going to kind of deaden it, that cheapen it. That's one thing that bothers Alice a lot about heels. And now that she has brought it up, it does bother me. Like, you can have this banger match going, right? But because one of the people is a heel and they have a friend outside of the ring, they're gonna cast interference in one way or another, which then the heel is gonna win the match, which that didn't happen in this match, of course. But then the heel wins the match, and it's kind of it kind of cheapens the whole thing. Props to Orange Cassidy for taking those helicopter spins, both by the leg and by the head.
Oh my God, that was such a scary spot.
I guess he knows his body limits. You know what I mean? They played off each other so well, and it was really a great match. Didn't really enjoy the post-match nonsense, but
So I am on the same boat as Adolfo. For me personally, I enjoyed this match, but this was not my match of the night.
I'm on an island on myself and Orange Cassidy, apparently.
I enjoyed this match only because we're getting Orange versus Moxley round 2 at Full Gear, which I'm excited for. That Hurricanrana pin, though, I was just like, Orange Cassidy, you continue to impress me every time that you wrestle.
It's going to be even higher if he beats Mox at Full Gear too. That's the best thing about this, is that I feel, even with the after beatdown that we had there with Mox going to town on him, and then did everyone notice Claudio pulling Mox off of him?
Yeah,
he stopped him because there's a respect there from losing to Cassidy. That to me was a great little move. Like, oh, okay, so Mox is unhinged about this, whereas Claudio's like, no, I got beat. Like, he took everything I had, and he beat me.
I felt like Jon Moxley, the way that he came in, I felt like that segment could have been a different, backstage segment. I definitely appreciate Claudio pulling Moxley off of Orange Cassidy, but when Moxley slid in, for the first few minutes, Claudio was just kind of sitting there, okay, what am I? What
that's his buddy. What's he gonna do?
Right, but then even then, not to jump ahead, but then when Moxley does his segment and he's like, I have no friends now, okay, what does that mean about the BCC?
That's exactly what it meant about the BCC, because Claudio didn't stop him, but also then didn't help. That was clearer to me than when I watched it. It's not dissension in the BCC, but it's everyone's torn about Danielson being out. Danielson's the heart and soul of that group. the three of them are kind of like figuring out that they're not clicking as well.
Yeah.
Without Danielson there. I saw that built up. I saw it going there. I love that bit of it, and I feel like it's that way. It makes the pay-per-view that much muddier that I think that Moxley has a chance to beat him, but Orange might actually retain this time, even though we know that they were trying to put it on Mox beforehand to have him make a run with it. So we go backstage again. First up, Max is going to go knock on the door, trick or treat, and see what he can do, see what he can find. Looks for Kenny Omega, which kind of makes sense. They had a big banger of a match, big respect at the end of the night. If you watch after AEW, after what happened on Collision, they had a nice talk in the match as well, like really putting each other over. And who answers the door? But Chris Jericho. And says nothing, but with his body goes, "Get the heck out of here."
Yeah, slam.
Stay away from Chris Jericho. Just run.
Oh, well, that's brought up later, which is great. But so that was the quick thing right there. We then cut to the promo that you brought up, Adolfo, there with Mox saying he has no friends, he has no respect for Orange Cassidy anymore. He's now going to go and have to like destroy him and take it back. You know, Fenix had to give his all. He rambled for a bit, and the nice part at this point, as we've talked about before, Moxley wasn't with other people who looked bored or couldn't stand there next to him. He just rambled and walked around, so it was legitimately like you had focus and that was it. But I mean, it gave clarification, but I don't think it was needed. Overall, this could have been next week. Ugh. Okay.
I need a moment.
Mikey and I, Adolfo, as fervent ROH supporters, we're so happy to see one of our favorite teams from there appear on AEW TV to try to claim their belts back, which deserve to be on ROH, from the Hung Bucks. And what we observed, not to spoil too much, was them being used as a prop to prop up the Hangman Page storyline and a Young Bucks heel turn? That's what these titles were for? What?
Hey,
why?
man, I'm gonna cause further dissension in this and say I enjoyed the match. I liked the story. I'm happy that the Mogul Embassy got the belts back, which I think we all agree.
We all are
100%.
We all agree that. But yeah, push along the Hangman Adam Page Swerve Strickland storyline. Cause the Young Bucks to go dark side. I enjoyed it. I got my big man meat slapping around. I don't like Hangman Adam Page, and I don't like the Young Bucks. I never understood their appeal. Not saying that they're not good wrestlers. They are good wrestlers. They're very athletic. They do great moves. Maybe it's their style. Maybe it's the way that they present themselves. But I don't like the Hung Bucks. So seeing Mogul MC come in and rip them apart and beat them down, I was just like, solo.
If you liked that, you should watch ROH because they do that all the time, and it's amazing.
I'm getting there. I know. I need to watch.
But watching them work too, even when it's just Toa and Khan as the Gates of Agony, and watching them work against like other big meaty guys like the Iron Savages and all. It's really a lot of fun to see them work. I was excited for them to be on the show. Yeah. I feel like what the downside for me was the titles were on the line on an AEW product, and they weren't given even the fact that it was a title match. A big thing. People forgot that the titles are going on. Hangman forgot. He just left, which for good reason, but still, it drove them down farther than they needed to be because they are championships. Oh, no, Mikey. Oh, that's right. You have some thoughts. Mikey has some thoughts. Let's turn over to El Jefe's corner here and see how that's going.
El Jefe has some words. I would like to appreciate Adolfo for being here. He will not be returning.
I have a vote in this, and I vote that he stays.
Be like, I am the boss. I veto you. At first, I didn't mind these ROH titles being on AEW. Kind of. And there was a sliver of me that was okay with it. But because of Claudio Castagnoli, and he still hasn't earned good graces with me back for that title run as ROH champion. Tonith Khan, we need to have a chat. Because between all your AEW championships and all the Ring of Honor championships, the disrespect to six-man wrestling and tag team wrestling and the prestige and the tradition that comes behind those two Ring of Honor titles, the history of Ring of Honor that you say that you love so much and that it inspired you and made you fall in love with wrestling, Tony, you are a big hypocrite because you are using these titles as props and you are not treating them as actual tag team titles. I am happy that Mogul Embassy won. Mogul Embassy has the 6-man's back. It made no sense why they lost him in the first place, but I'm glad they have him back because at least now they'll be on Ring of Honor. Tony Khan, though, if you want to prevent any further ire from me, you need to get those titles off of MJF and give them to a tag team that appears on Ring of Honor on a weekly basis. That is all.
100%. I will also say this for it. Tony Khan, if you're really about parity in your businesses and everything else, when are the AEW titles coming down to ROH? Because if they're really going to go across things, let's get the tag champions down there. Let's make an ROH person win the AEW tag titles. Oh, wait, you wouldn't do that because they actually mean something to you. Feel dirty about that. Let's move on to something else dirty, which is Max Jacob Friedman in the back, about to knock on Darby Allin's door, and decides to write emo bitch in Sharpie on his name tag.
And around the corner, surprise!
Surprise acclaimed!
The Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. He also, contemplates knocking on Joe's door and it's like, nope.
Nope.
We then jump from the backstage adventures and in the Weird Land to Tony Schiavone in the ring, introducing Adam Copeland.
Adam Copeland.
Say it. Everyone say it together. Adam
Copeland.
Adam comes out, cuts his usual, everyone knows what I'm going to talk about. It's Christian Cage. It's this. He luckily gets cut off a little ways through by Christian Cage, who, oh Lord, bringing up neck problems. He's going to end his career in Stings and gets ruthless on it. Dirty bed sheets, everything else. Christian Cage, my God, man. You are a sassy son of a bitch.
He went in.
When Adam Copeland, when he came out for this spot, I was like, oh, do we have to endure more whining? Which we did not, and I will give them props for that. Adam Copeland.
Adam Copeland.
He got lumped up. Sting and Darby Allin came out, and I felt like we finally got some traction in this storyline. Adam Copeland. He said that he's joining Sting and Darby Allin for Full Gear.
He's going to be in the 3-man tag with them.
Right.
In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. So
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Let's get there. I am actually excited to see how this goes. I just hope that once the 6 of them get it in, right? We know Darby Allin is going to be squaring off against Nick Wayne. He's got a thing there. I feel like we discussed that Sting, he's going to be doing a part-time thing, so he's really not going to be appearing much. The end game of Adam Copeland going against Christian is there. It's just a question of how many times is Luchasaurus going to get tossed in. Is Luchasaurus going to get sick of it and break away and have Christian fight his own battle?
We get to 3-man tag. Luchasaurus gets the crap kicked out of him, and Christian pisses him off so much that he finally turns on Christian after so much stuff going on in the match, and Adam Copeland saves Christian from Luchasaurus.
Okay. All right.
We then cut to one of the longer promos of the night, and this has been discussed ad nauseum by a lot of the other outlets here.
Do we have to?
No. I'm not going to go into detail about what happened here and make the usual jokes. What this is that Tony Khan's gone one too many times to the well of, I have a giant announcement next week, tune in to see me, and then it doesn't live up to the hype.
Bro.
This was this promo as well.
Bro.
This needs to stop.
Yeah.
It has now gone to the point where he is actually turning people off from the product for doing it. I know why he's doing it, but Tony, it's not working anymore, and you really are. I think you're done. We're going to move over to basically an amazing tag team that got dumped on again by 2 people put together at the last minute to further the Don Callis Brown Note storyline, because we had Daddy Magic, Matt Menard, and Cool Hand Luke coming out to face the Golden Jets of Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho,
Jets.
which was sold on commentary with Don Callis and his boys on commentary as well.
Point of information, I will give credit where credit's due. Jericho and Omega, both from Winnipeg, giving the shout out to the Winnipeg Jets.
Yep. Which are finally back in the NHL.
I will give credit where credit's due. Golden Jets. I get it.
I'm just saying, like the visual it brings up is a little bit.
Yeah, right.
So we had Don Callis family on commentary. Go boys! Tell me about what you thought about this, as it led into what we called last week of who's coming out.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I'm sorry. And go ahead, Mikey. I'll let you go first this time.
As both hosts of the Rampage review are in here, we have already experienced a lot of the former non-JAS boys shenanigans of everything, right? And,
Adolfo had to walk away for this.
Exactly. Like, he understands, like, because we've been going through it with this whole thing. I was mad at these boys because they ran all over Anna Jay during her promo last week, and it made me very upset. She's just a glorified babysitter, as Alice has called her, and it made me sad because she's speaking the truth. But in terms of this, I'm sad because I love Kenny. I hate Chris.
Yeah.
This version of Chris Jericho has turned me off of him so much because he's just a black void of just everybody gets sucked in. It doesn't do anything for the people who work with him. And Chris, for some whatever reason, always ends up being the one that comes out on top of these storylines. What irritated me the most about this match was towards the end of this finish where, Daddy Magic and Cool Hand, they have the bat. And I was ready for them to start fighting Jericho and hitting with him. Then Cool Hand has some reservations about hitting Chris Jericho with the bat. And that is when I had to pause my television, get up, and walk away for a little bit. Because I don't understand. You boys left him. You want to go on this journey by yourself. There should not be any lingering feelings for how you left the situation. From a writing perspective, if you have a break between character ties, you cannot have any lingering. There might be some the only way conflicted feelings works is if there was a intimate relationship of some sort of friendship or romantic relationship. This was neither one of them. This is more of, hey, we're all in the same group, let's work together kind of thing. You should not go back to the person that made you feel this way to begin with.
So I am not happy with the way that the remnants of the Jazz was utilized. When they had that bat, they should have teed off on Jericho.
Yeah.
Right? They can still lose the match, whatever. When they did their separation from Chris Jericho and all these weeks going, on Rampage, that's been the thread, of they were so adamant that they left Jericho and they got to stand on their own feet and this, that, the other,
Yep.
So it was soft. It was very soft. I am going to comment on the other elephant in the room, let's call it.
I mean, it's about the size of one.
Right, exactly. Paul White is back in AEW. And Paul White is going to be teaming up with the Golden Jets and Takeshita.
Kota
Ibushi to go against the Don Callis family.
In a street fight.
So
you're protecting him that way.
So now, I like Paul White. No BS. I like Paul White, and when he came out, I was like, oh, okay, it's Paul White. AEW has been utilizing him in some of the promos. Like he did that one promo with Max and Adam Cole, and
he's also been on commentary on a couple of things too. He pops in every once in a while.
Yeah, so seeing him doing one more match, that it's cool. I am burnt out on classic wrestlers getting pulled out, though. I would have much rather if Chris Jericho if they found another big piece of man meat that would be a good juxtaposition against Powerhouse Hobbs, because Lord knows there's enough of them out there. It would have been nice if it was new talent. Last week we had, oh, what's the big surprise? It's Ric Flair, and then oh, who's this big surprise coming in? It's Adam Copeland. Adam Copeland. Again, it's that whole. I think we've dipped into this well a little too much. You have a lot of talent in ROH. You have a lot of talent in New Japan. You have a lot of talent in the Lucha Libre Association. Can we not pull from there? And start making some bringing up some new talent.
Poor Kyle Fletcher having to take the big KO punch.
Oh,
and he sold it beautifully. But
that's the other thing that made me mad. I was like, why we gotta make Kyle Fletcher look like the Sputs here? I was like, what is happening? Also, he used way too much hair gel. That was a lot, bro.
I loved that. I
think he got into the Gorilla Moko adult gel.
Yeah, totally. But I'll tell you what, I would have loved to have been the fly on the wall of the Don Callis family being backstage and them huddling up and being like, okay, Paul White's coming in, he's going to punch and KO someone. Who wants to be it?
I feel like Kyle would be like, oh, absolutely.
Right.
My couple of notes on this that I want to get to. Jericho, again, proves that he's better in tag matches because he's protected and doesn't have to do as much. We knew that was going to happen.
Yep.
Paul White can't walk anymore. He can't even stand up straight. So it's like, I feel for him that he's out there being bust out. That's why the street fight's going to work. He won't have to do much. He can kind of be around and lean on things. But he's in that late stage Andre the Giant of his career where he just really can't move.
Yep.
To your point, Mikey, I have to disagree slightly on the writing bit of it.
Oh my God, this is such a
dramatic
writing bit
episode.
Of it,
not the acting bit of it. What I can see what the writers are going for here. And having been in an abusive relationship myself, I can see that. You brought up friendship. Remember Daddy Magic's promo when they broke off from Jericho. Hero worship that built into friendship. That's where they're setting this basis from and why there's still ties to him. If you're in an abusive relationship with a narcissist like that, I know from experience that no matter what you do, you always have that pull and that feeling for them and wanting to please them because you feel like it's going to turn that corner and they're going to acknowledge you and you're finally going to, and even when you've had your out and you walk away from it, it doesn't go away. So to the point of writing that type of character, I can see why they had to make that choice. Now, the execution of that, and they have not handled that type of deepness well in this storyline at all, falls to the specific writing and the performance of it, and that not gelling. But I agree with you that it has not been presented well in this, and that I can't trust the writing staff or the acting in this to be able to hold it into it. We go backstage, Renee gets them in their locker room, and the Bucks are upset. I love the Bucks being upset in the background, and then calling them out like, we're your friends. You had no other friends? You called Jericho? Of course.
I kind of dug that. I was like, be little turds. Be the turds that I know you can be.
You're right. That was it. We move on.
That's it.
Now we're going to Sheeta Willow.
Yeah,
my match of the night. I'm just bringing her out there right now. This was my match of the night.
This was up there for me. I had to give it to Claudio and Orange.
I thoroughly enjoyed this match.
Before we dive in, though, we had John Cena on AEW TV.
They mentioned him because of Wipeout.
Yeah, the Wipeout promo right underneath. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Side tangent. Him and Nicole Byer are an awesome duo that I didn't know I needed. I love Nicole Byer.
We're gonna watch that later. But let's get back to the women's match. Also, why put that there? That took away from the women's match, anyways.
Right.
We get it out of the way because this match for me was everything.
Yeah, this match was a great match. I am sad. I knew Willow wasn't going to win, but I am sad that Willow didn't win.
Same.
I agree. However, if you're just going to continue to have Hikaru defend this title, we also knew that Abaddon, they weren't going to win the title, right? And it makes me sad because Abaddon was only brought in because it's Halloween season, so we need to have them be in this spooky fight. So that's what made me mad about we finally get Abaddon back, but they only ever get brought back for the Halloween spooky stuff, and it makes me mad.
Another thing is, if we're gonna have Hikaru Shida be a fighting champion, okay, fine, she's gonna be a fighting champion. She needs some microphone time. She needs some backstage time. Maybe now that she has beaten Abaddon and beaten Willow, maybe now have her do like an in-ring spot that Toni Storm comes out on. Instead of Toni Storm coming out and interrupting like the end of the match. Your match is over already, so why are you getting upset and running after her? I would much rather at this point to ramp up their match that we start having Shida have some backstage interviews that Toni Storm comes in and interrupts her. Lights go out, and I was like, oh,
here it comes.
Oh, here it comes. And boop, there we are. And there's Julia Hart. I'm like, and then Sky Blue comes out. And I was like, okay. I am of two opinions of this, right?
Are you of an opinion of how Sky Blue missed the miss?
I'm
got her down here
and got her down here instead of up here. Yeah, or maybe that was a creative choice.
Could have
been. We don't know. But Sky Blue blows the blue mist on Julia Hart and tags her with the blue mist. Okay, fine. And I guess Sky Blue and Willow are still friends. But we have built up this Julia Hart thing, and I dig it. And I'm like, yes, we did something with the storyline, and I'm happy. I am bummed that we didn't have some spooky Yuki Julia Hart, controlling Sky Blue to take out Willow Nightingale. I mean, that might still be coming, right? Because Sky still has the Sith Blue. I'm sorry, I'm calling her
Midnight
Sith
Blue.
Right, Sith Blue. It might still be coming. But yeah,
the House of Blue.
The House of Blue. But yeah, I was really, really happy that they did something with this story.
All of this was wonderful. Everything was brought me through. I enjoyed every bit of this and the kind of weird turn that Sky isn't fully turned yet or anything else, and Willow's fighting it off. But Tony Khan, you are so pigeonholing your entire division that you book not only your champions match and her storyline in a segment, but then you book the other 3 storylines you have running in a small segment in the same segment? You couldn't trust this earlier in the night when you could have had no Jericho backstage or cut a whole match? No. Let's give it 3 seconds and do this whole thing that probably needed to be spread over a couple more weeks in some other place. It made me so happy and angry at the same time that I laughed in the weirdest way possible.
Yep.
Yes. So we get backstage again. Max is finally caught to the point where he's like, all right, I'm looking around. The Acclaimed show up. They hand him a trash bag and say, here, we got you something here. Join us to do this. He says no. He has one more place to go. We turn the corner, and there's Team TNA. And
come on home, Max.
Satnam Singh, and he's like, come on, you know you want to. In the back was the big giant bean that was hysterical. Yeah. I feel like they could have cut this one. It was just a joke for the sake of being a joke. And we know where Max is going, even though he's like, I still don't know. We know where it's going. Cut to another promo. Again, back with Next Strong. And Roddy just calls Adam Cole. He's like, is he mean? Is he so bad? And Adam hangs up on him. But we move on now to what Renee Young accidentally called on the pre-show to the last thing, the Gang Bang Gang, not the Bang Bang Gang.
Yes, I was like, hold up, pause. I had to rewind. I was like, did I hear this correctly?
So good. And I love Renee. And then it was explained by RJ City. No, it's the Bang Bang Belt, the Bang Bang Gang. Yeah. That's what they said. They come out full on, regalia, all 4 of them being really good. The Acclaimed make their entrance. And man, Max Caster, your rap was actually pretty damn good this week.
Yup.
And
I got the full uncensored version on Fight TV.
So good. Same here. And then we get MJF in Acclaimed gear.
In Acclaimed gear.
Oh.
And
The pink Burberry.
Unpopular opinion. This was my match of the night.
This was a lot of fun.
This was great, and chicken ass heels all over the place. Jay White MVP for selling all that crap.
Yep.
But yeah, this was more of a storytelling match than I gave it credit for. I really enjoyed the interaction between Daddy Ass and the Guns. I loved him like getting back and forth with Jay White and such. It felt like the only person that didn't get much to do this whole entire time was Juice Robinson. He was kind of just left in the dust for most of it.
Yeah, but you know what? He had his match last week.
That's very fair.
And that was a banger. That was a banger of a match. So,
it was.
You know.
You had your favorite move of the night, Mikey. It had the double kangaroo kick.
Yep. It was good.
Well, it's been great. I'm going to go.
The only thing that bummed me out about this match was that it only took Jay White one
Blade Runner
to knock out MJF. Because, come on. You know, we saw MJF and how many of those, you know, those moves from Kenny Omega that he took. By this point, we know MJF can take more than that, you know? So the fact that one Blade Runner took him out just kind of like was anticlimactic to me. Kudos to the Bang Bang Gang for really healing it up. I mean, I was getting 1980s like Bobby the Brain Heenan, Iron Sheik, Nikolai Volkov heel vibes from them. And maybe it was just me. They were just doing such a good job at being the heel, and the Acclaimed, Daddy Ass, and MJF were doing such a good job at being the baby faces, you know. So I enjoyed it. And you know, at the end we got our four-way scissor
after Max took the bullet for Max.
Yep, after Max took the bullet for Max.
I loved Daddy Ass. It's just like, as MJF, like Max is laying on the floor and he's like, Max Caster's laying up and he holds it up and MJF's like, oh hell no.
Right.
I love that Billy Gunn stops it and is just like, are you kidding me? After everything he's done. And then like again, the Fight TV feed, because the mic picked it up, is just like, I was like, you better scissor. That was just like...
Now I do want to present this question to you, my two fellow compatriots, and to you, the audience out there. Please,
put it in the comments.
In the comments, you know. So there has been a lot of discussion about MJF going to WWE, MJF going to WWE, this, that, the other. This episode was the MJF show. This is a two-part question. Do we think that MJF, if he does go to WWE, he's going to get this type of leeway with storylines, number one? And number two, is it a smart idea for him to jump ship and, in essence, become small fish, big pond? I think if he went to WWE, that would be a huge mistake to him. And everything he's worked on, because we know how they work over there. He will literally be back at the bottom.
I'm a little hesitant to see MJF in WWE, only because I think my issue is with MJF going to WWE. It's all, for me, it's dependent on two things. One, I need to see if MJF and how him and Triple H are going to get along. I love Hunter to death. I think, you know, now that he's fully in charge of creative, there's hope for me over at WWE land to see some interesting stuff. However, that is a double-edged sword, because if you piss off Hunter, it is game over. What I need to see is how the rest of the relationship with him and the new locker room does. Is that AEW, MJF is a big personality, and outside of like maybe Kenny and a few other big personalities, there's not as many characters per se. In WWE, there are way more big characters. They have built that star power over the years of being in there. And I think MJF going in there, it's like Adolfo, you said, small fish in a big pond where he has to try not to get eaten alive by these big names. Short version, no. I think MJF is going to have a hard time. Even if he gets in Hunter's like good graces, he has to contend with a lot of top male and female talent to get that screen time.
He's so young in his career that I don't think he's seasoned enough, ready to be shot to the moon in WWE. They would look at him as developmental still because he's got to relearn the business. 2, he's had a great year and a half. He was an up-and-comer through the entirety of AEW, but this has been his year to shine. So again, that young in the career, having one big year under your belt, you're not top of the mountain yet. So again, are you going to float in this land of giants to be able to do that? 3, he's undersized for them. Not because Vince is there and Vince likes oversized guys, but because of the roster they've built, they're all ginormous people. He's going to look small compared to them. And the amount of alleged steroids he's doing, because you can tell from the acne on his back, he's bulking himself out to look bigger for it, but it's still not there. Where I see him fitting and what they would try to do with him, and this is not trying to denigrate him or the other person, they would turn him into a mini Miz. Someone who can talk, someone who can be a hand in the ring, but is undersized and definitely doesn't seem in the eyes of everyone else to be a believable superstar in their mind. So no, he shouldn't go there yet. Not yet. He can get there. Give him another 3 to 5 years. Indies this, whatever it is, build up and show you can sustain that level of stardom. That way they're not going to mess with your stardom in WWE. It's the only reason people like AJ Styles got as far as he did with that stuff, because he had such a backlog of proving it over and over again. Whereas you had to like rebuild Finn Balor multiple times because it wasn't done in all these other places. You had to rebuild Nakamura again and again. It is time to discuss our eating habits and how they affect our rating of this Dynamite, which we agree was not its best showing, but was different than it had been. For our audience at home, starting with Mikey, going to Adolfo, and then finally ending with myself, how many and what type of empanadas will you give this tonight?
Out of a scale of 5, I am going to give this 2.7 empanadas out of 5.
I'm gonna give it 3 ham and cheese empanadas.
Ooh,
with American cheese.
Oh,
so you know, it's just like, again, it's that comfort, you know.
Yeah.
It tastes good going down, but you know, it's nothing to open a food truck over.
Are these microwavable or do they actually get fried?
No, they're actually fried. Pre-made empanada dough.
So frozen to fried. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I, as well, will give it about a 3 empanada scale. Again, not too filling, kind of that standard, like, I got it from, you know, not a reputable place. Like, they started doing them as a whim to give out to people at this line here, but they're not known for it. But then I have to vomit one back up because we had one section with the women's match, all the women's stories, and everything else jammed into less than 15 minutes. Yeah. So, got sick, didn't like it. Might come back for another one, try a different truck. That was AEW Dynamite for the 1st of November. Boys, I have had a lovely time with you here. We want to remind our audience, check us out on the socials at BC WrestlePod. Drop us a comment, engagement, positive or negative. It makes engagement happen. It makes YouTube and Instagram and all the other places know we're there. So please keep talking to us. But realize we'd love to hear more of your comments on whether MJF should go to WWE and what will happen. Whether you like having Adolfo on here better than the Professor because he is better than the Professor. Whether Mikey he's been here. And whether Mikey needs to be able to talk louder or talk lower at this point to not interrupt his brother who's streaming in another room. So we just want to know these things. Thank you for joining us on the Just Our Three Gents wonderful review tonight. And remember, as always, you're biconic. We are all biconic, and we really do love sharing this wacky art form with you. We'll see you on the next video.
Chafing! Oh, chafing! Oh,